It's time!
What's going on, everybody? It is Noon with Nim. It's not noon here, but it's noon somewhere. So that's right. We could do this show whenever we want. Because just like it's 5 o'clock somewhere, it is noon somewhere, wherever you are in the world. So, I had a little time, and I thought I'd hop in here and talk about a few things. Let's see if anybody hops in and joins us live, which would be fantastic. We got some comic stuff I want to talk about. There's a few nerd culture things that I wanted to bring up and talk about. If you're out there listening and you want to bring something up, or you just want to say hey, or drop me a chat, let me know. But one of the things I want to talk about, and I'm going to kick it off right here, and this is a little unusual for Comic Crusaders, but it's not unusual for me, and that is U.S. soccer. I'm a huge soccer fan, football fan, if you're outside the United States or Australia. And they played Brazil the other day. Now, you have to understand, and they tied them 1-1. Now, you have to understand, just a few days before this, they got their asses comprehensively kicked by Colombia. They looked the worst that I have seen in a long time. And I'm not one of these people that's going to jump on, fire the coach all the time. And a lot of people hate the current coach. But, man, he did not have those guys prepared. But a lot of this has got to go on the players as well. And the reason I'm bringing this up today, besides the fact that I just want to talk about soccer, and if some of you guys want to talk about it, U.S. soccer, when MLS gets going on, I want to talk about Galaxy. I'm a big VfB Stuttgart fan in Germany. But with U.S. soccer in particular, but I'm talking about effort. These guys, when they went out there against Colombia, looked like they could just walk onto the field against another team of professionals, and by virtue of their pedigree, where they play in Europe, they would be able to win. And they got their butts handed to them. Then they turn around in Brazil, and I don't know if I'm going to give credit to the coach for this or if I'm going to give credit to the players for this. I think I'll give credit to both. But they put in the effort and the tenacity and the determination and the sheer force of will to be competitive. And the reason I bring this up is that shit is not always going to go right for us out there in whatever we're doing. Our jobs, no matter what job we have, our relationships, our families, everything requires effort. I had a swim coach. I was a swimmer in high school and college, who used to tell me that the key to being successful as a professional swimmer, or like an international level swimmer or a national level swimmer, it was 10% talent and 90% hard work. And I tell that story all the time, and people don't get what I mean by that. But, man, yes, for you to be elite, you have to have that talent level that's above other people as well. Doesn't matter how hard you work. If you don't have the talent of a Michael Jordan, if you don't have the talent of a Larry Bird, if you don't have the talent of a LaDainian Thompson, you could work all day long and you are not going to be that elite level athlete. However, or anything else in life. But you could have all the talent in the world, and if you don't put the effort in, you won't even be a has-been. You'll be a never was. And I think, and that's in everything. And I think that's just such an important thing. And it really stuck out for me in this game, because here were two soccer games within 4 days of each other, I believe. And the effort level was night and day. And I don't think I'm going out on a limb here to say that as much as we have in the United States have improved in football and soccer, our players, man for man, are still not as skilled as the players on the Brazilian team. The gap is closing, but it's not there yet. However, just like the teams that came before them, if you put in that level of effort, you set yourself up for success. And sometimes you can transcend your skill level to accomplish something even bigger. And that is just such a huge lesson that, once again, I learned watching that. I took it to heart. And, I wanted to share it with all of you. I think it's important that we all take that to heart in our own lives, because there's a lot of, it's easy to get down. It's easy to phone it in. It's easy to do a whole host of things that become then habit. And you get into the habit of not getting up every day and putting in every effort into the day. It's easy to keep going. And hey, I'll admit it. I'm number one on that list. There are plenty of times when I have just phoned in the day, I phoned in the week. There's sometimes whole months have gone by where I'm like, what have I really accomplished? And I'm in my 50s now, but even for anybody who's 18, 19 years old, starting out, life is too short. Get out there and put that effort in every day and try to be the best and put in the maximum effort of whatever it is you're trying to do. And you'll be successful more often than not. And even if you're not successful, you'll be put on the path of success. So I bring that up. I'm not going to turn this into a soccer show. I am planning on doing some soccer shows in the future, but I bring that up because I got to talk about some stuff that's out there. And I'm not going to talk about it from a hate standpoint, man. And the number one show I'm going to bring up, and you all have heard about it, I'm sure. If you are into geek or nerd cultures, I know you've heard about it. And it is this Acolyte show that has come out on Disney Plus, the new Star Wars show. Look, there's a lot to be said from a lore perspective, from the uber geek perspective about, hey, we don't like the show because of this. We don't like the show because of that. And that has been done to death. I don't want to get into that. I really don't want to rehash that. What I will say is what I've been very vocal saying on social media. It's like, look, at this point, all of these IPs are going the way they're going. And if you don't like it, that's fine. You are allowed to not like it. And if people try and give you crap for not liking something and call you names, whatever, just let it wash off your back, man. Just consider the source and let it go, because you are allowed to say, look, this is not my cup of tea. I am not enjoying this and I don't want to be a part of it. That's fine. But that's the next step. Walk away. Walk away. Life's too short. Put your effort, your intensity, your passion into something that you love and that you want to be successful. Get out there, create, or find a new creator who's doing something really cool that you want to get behind and support. Get out there and, whatever it is you want to do, rebuild a car, do a model, go teach your kid how to throw a baseball, whatever it is, be passionate about that. But while I'm saying that, here is my complaint that I'm going to have with a lot of the new IPs. And this is not so much for all of you who don't like what's going on, even though, hey, if you agree with me, please comment. If you disagree with me, please comment. This is for all of the people that are writing these shows and the people that are enjoying this new content, because there are those people out there. There are people who like the new direction for Star Trek. There's people who like the new direction for Star Wars. Hey, God bless them. That's what they want. But bring that intensity. Don't phone it in. Just because somebody is saying something that you think that you agree with ideologically, or you're seeing some stuff on there that you didn't see before and you identify, that's fine. But don't let people get away with being lazy. Demand good storytelling. Storytelling that you like, storytelling that you enjoy, storytelling that represents the people that you want to see. That's fine. Maybe it's not what I want to see, but maybe it's what you want to see. But whatever it is, don't let people get away with being lazy. And that's what's going on with these showrunners on a lot of these shows. Man, they are taking these old IPs and they are beating them to death like a dead horse. And life's too short for us to waste our time on this stuff. If you're going to bring something new and fresh and thought out and well developed, I may sit there and go, look, I don't like it, but at least you put that effort and that intensity in. But if you're just going to insert, story A with whatever it is, your other agendas you want to bring in, mash those two together, throw $180 million of special effects at it, and try and package it to all of us and say, look, what incredible creative I am. Hey, that's weak. That's weak sauce right there. That's weak sauce. We, the viewing public, deserve better. You, the creator, deserve better. You didn't get to the part where you are right now by phoning it in. I mean, maybe you did. Hey, maybe you got lucky. Maybe life kissed you on the ass and you got that silver spoon in your mouth and you just fell bass backwards into a plum position writing mega hits and everything else, or for major studios. But my guess is that at somewhere along the line you put the effort in. But once you get there, to stay on top, you need to put even more effort in. And that effort needs to be not only what am I doing right now and what do I want to write, but what came before? What can I incorporate? How do I honor what came before while building on the legacy? How do I try? I don't know if it's always going to be possible, but how do I try to bring in new fans while keeping old fans? Those two don't have to be at odds. Those two don't have to be direct opposites, where if I want to attract younger, newer fans, that I have to alienate the old fans. And don't give me that BS about the old fans or this or that or whatever else. It's not true. Nobody's buying it anymore. So don't bring that weak ass sauce. Don't bring it. What's up, Adam? Yeah. Nobody wants to hear that. We don't want, if we tell you, look, this isn't what we want. We don't want it. We don't want to see this new Star Wars. We don't want to see this new Star Trek. We're not attacking you. We're not attacking you as a person. We're just saying, look, it's not our cup of tea. And you got a choice at that point. But don't come at us attacking us personally. Don't come at us. You have a choice. You can say, look, maybe we need to rethink. Maybe we're doing something wrong. Maybe we need to figure out a way to connect those two audiences. Or maybe you just say, hey, your time is come and gone. Good luck. But send us out with a smile and a pat on the butt. Don't send us out by telling us that we're a bunch of racist pieces of shit. Excuse my language. I would rather you be honest with me and break up with me honestly and say, look, Star Wars has passed you by. And if you don't like this Star Wars, we're sorry. Good luck. We appreciate you for all your support and faith and your time put into the genre and the IP in the past. But we're going this direction, and we wish you all the best of luck. And by the way, we're going to offer all the old stuff for you to watch because you could still enjoy that Star Wars. And I'd be like, okay. I might not be happy about it at first, but I'd be like, okay. But it all comes back to that effort. So like I was talking about that U.S. soccer game, it's all about putting that effort in. And I think this is the part, one of the things that's really killing a lot of people. Are there people out there who are criticizing stuff out of bad faith? You better believe it. You better believe there are people out there who are criticizing everything that comes down the pike out of bad faith, and they're doing it for clickbait, rage likes, on YouTube to get that algorithm going. And I don't have time for them either. But I'll tell you, it just doesn't seem to me like a lot of these content creators on a whole host of things. And I called out Star Wars by name, but it is not Star Wars. All the different names out there. I don't need to list them out, but it doesn't seem like you put the effort in at all to understand your fan base and to understand what their concerns are. I don't know if you don't care, but I really don't believe that, because when it comes down to it, all of you are artists. All of you want your stuff to be read. All of you want to make money. Let's be honest. Part of doing this is we would like to make money someday. But heck, I'm an artist. I'm a writer. I want people to write my stuff or read my stuff. So you can't tell me that anyone who is an actor or a writer or a filmmaker is making stuff for the express purpose, no matter how much they say it, to piss off a large portion of the fan base and alienate them so it doesn't get watched and then it fails. Nobody wants to do that. It's laziness to me. Put the effort in. Get out there. Do the hard work. Heck, get out there and organize a convention, Disney. Bring in a convention of Marvel fans of all different ages and have a forum and have them tell you what your concerns are, what they're looking for in a movie. Do some polls. Find out what people want to see, what they want to read, what they want to look at. Man, and you will get people passionate again. So there's that. So that's the movies and the TV stuff. So that's not a rant, but that's just the way I'm looking at it, because this is the NIM space. We're going to be doing this a lot, and I'm going to be talking about different stuff. But I want us to go, there's some cool stuff going on. So I talked about old IPs. Well, just because it's an old IP doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't deserve new life. And one of the best examples of that that I could think of lately is, thank you, Steve. Thank you. One of the best examples I can think of an old IP. We're talking from the 1950s here, folks. Not as old as DC Comics, but old. That came out with a new movie that was fantastic was Godzilla -1. Man, Godzilla -1, if you have not seen it, once you're done watching this, get off this podcast and find it and watch it. It is a new plot that makes the original Gojira movie from 1954 fresh again, while keeping it in World War II and adding new elements to it. And it is fantastic. I can't say enough about good things about this. And it was done on a budget. I mean, they didn't have a ton of money for this. They had less, I think they have 1/3 the money of the recent Star Wars TV series. And I'm not going to call them out by name anymore. I'm done with that. So if I do it again, call me on it. But Godzilla -1 brought it. They had some great effects in there, some compelling storytelling, real human characters that you cared about in a kaiju movie, which is unusual. You know, a lot of times people just want to see kaiju breaking stuff. Not this one. Godzilla -1 is fantastic. If you are a Godzilla fan, go see it. And that's not to take away from the new Godzilla movies, by the way. They're enjoyable films. I enjoy watching them. But this one felt like the old, original 1950s, early 1960s, because once the 60s kept going, Godzilla got silly, and I like that era too. But that 50s, early 60s Godzilla movie, which were legitimate monster movies with some social themes going on and some real movie making. I mean, it was that first 1954 movie is really good. Go watch it. And if you can find it in Japanese with subtitles, watch it in Japanese. It's fantastic. So, you know, this stuff is out there for us to find. Another one I'm going to give a shout out. Now, the fandom is divided on this one, but I love Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I love Ghostbusters Afterlife. I think what they're doing with it is very, very good. And I want to see more of it. Yes, they have transitioned over. Yes, they've moved over to a new generation and the old generation is there. But I think they've honored the original. And what they're doing with the new stuff makes a lot of sense. Now, my friend Jeff Bracey, who is a fellow comic crusader and an artist on some of my books and stuff, says that the second Ghostbusters is very similar to Ghostbusters, the cartoon, the animated series. And I got to agree with him. He's got a point there. The way it was presented, plus the other elements of the Ghostbusters Corporation run by Winston and everything. Spoilers, sorry if you haven't seen it. But I think what they're doing with this, and what is it? Harold Ramis' son, I believe, or I could be wrong. The producer behind the movie, the son of the guy who died, I think it's Harold Ramis' son, has brought this movie and this franchise back to life. And I think he's done a fantastic job. So it shows that you can breathe new life. You can break new ground. You can honor the old while bringing in the new on established franchises. However, now that I've said that, I think I'm going to call out all of us. And I'm guilty of this too. As much as we love all the old stuff, and I think that there's room for us to love all that old stuff, we need to be open to the new. You know, we need to be open and looking for the new voices, the new artists. And hey, mea culpa, part of me, and I'm going to throw it up there. I've got a new crowdfunding campaign. I want you to read my new comic, but it's not just me. I mean, indie comics are out there and they are alive and they're vibrant. You see behind me ASAP Comic, ASAP Imagination. I write for them as well, but you got tons of people out there. You got there's a new comic by I can't remember their name. Baylor is out there. You have Path of the Pale Rider by Lori Calcaterra. You got Comic Madness. You know, we just saw Pops in here a minute ago, who's bringing the great word of indie comics out there for everybody. But it's not just comics. We got indie movies. We got indie art. We got all sorts of stuff going on. And these people have got new, fresh ideas. And we need to be open to those as well, because right now I have this sneaking suspicion that our love for all these old franchises is sucking up all the oxygen out of the room for all the new stuff that's coming along. And while I'm a I'm not an old fart, but I'm a fairly old fart who, you know, I'm trying to do this now in my 50s. That's one thing. But there's a lot of young folks out there who are busting tail trying to bring new stuff into everything as well. And we need to be open to that. We need to be seeking that out, you know? So I'm calling all of us out as nerds, as fans. We got to be looking for that new stuff. Look for that next thing. We got to give some love, man, because what if, you know, John Huston, you know, that's a bad example, but I can't think of another example right now, had squeezed out George Lucas back in the day. So there was no room for George Lucas to come in, or, you know, and so we never got American Graffiti. We never got Star Wars. And then we never got Raiders of the Lost Ark. We never get on any of that because everybody was tied up in what had come before in the 60s, what was big, which was the huge Hollywood blockbusters with biopics of Cleopatra and Spartacus and Ben-Hur, you know, with Clint Eastwood and everything, and the prototypical leading man. And, you know, but the public eventually gave this new stuff a chance. And this guy who did American Graffiti eventually, and then started with THX, which was a short film that he did. And then he moves and he does this brand new thing that blew everybody's minds with Star Wars. And then a year later, Star Trek, the movie, comes out, and that breaks new ground. And then Superman, the movie, comes out with Christopher Reeve, you know, and suddenly there was this new era that went on. And then that came in. It's like, we got to be willing to give these new things a try. So, and I'm guilty of it. I mean, look at behind me. I've got some indie comics on here, but I've also got some old ones. Look at that Superman in there. I mean, only an old fart would have that Superman up there. So look at that. Harrison Ford would be a retired custodian. You're damn right. You're damn right. The dude would have been on workers' comp for being a carpenter, which is what he was doing. So, yeah, you know, Mark Hamill, who knows what he would have been doing. So Carrie Fisher would have been, you know, I don't know. Maybe she would have been successful because she came from Hollywood royalty, but still, you know, it's just one of those things. We got to let the new generation breathe, the new voices. It's not necessarily the new generation, because yeah, I'm not a young face, but I would like to think I'm one of those new voices that's coming up. And we got to give all those new voices the ability to come in and present their stuff to us. And then we got to give them a fair assessment too. I mean, that's the other thing. We can't kiss people's asses. I don't want my ass kissed. If you read my stuff and you think it sucks, let me know. But don't just do a drive-by on me. You know, come in, say, hey, man, I like this, this, and this. Or, hey, I didn't like any of it. And here's why. Because then at least I could take that and work on my craft, you know? And I think that's the other thing is like, you don't need to be mean. Too many people are mean out there on social media. We don't need any of that. We don't need any shotgun blasts out there. You know, that's not helpful. But at the same time, it's not helpful to tell people that their stuff is great and has no problems, that their shit doesn't stink, when there's stuff they could work on. You know, don't be mean about it. Give them constructive criticism. And that means also pointing out the stuff that they did well. But the only way we grow as people in anything is when people are honest with us. I mean, I'll go back to that swim coach I had one time. Man, I was such a screw off in swimming. And I remember one time he made me swim the mile and I didn't want to swim it. So I was doing synchronized swimming with this other guy in a mile swim for 20 minutes. Pissed my coach off something fierce. That dude jumped 3 lanes and landed on my ass, got me disqualified 300 yards into a 1,600-yard race. And then after being disqualified, I started to get out of the pool because my time wasn't going to come out. He said, oh, no, get your ass back in that lane and keep swimming. So, you know, but I learned my lesson. And I also got my nickname from now on. He called me a Chiba monkey. So, you know, he's like, what the hell's wrong with you, Howard, you Chiba monkey? But I learned what was going on. And, you know, and that you couldn't half-ass it. Even for something I didn't want to do, it's like, it doesn't matter if you don't want to do it. This is what you're going to do. You're going to get your ass in there and you're going to swim the mile. And you're going to swim it as a race instead of goofing off, you know. And I needed that kick in the ass. I needed that criticism. And I think we all need that sometimes. So let's tie this all up before I'm going to get out of here. And I appreciate everybody who's watching this. You know, going back to U.S. soccer, like I was saying, they got their asses kicked against Columbia, and they didn't even show up. And that was the biggest embarrassment for them. They should have been embarrassed because they got destroyed not by people with superior talent necessarily, but because they just didn't put the effort in. And as a professional, that's inexcusable. And same thing goes for these people in comics and movies and everything. It's like, look, you're professionals. Put the effort in. And all of us who want to be professionals or are professionals, but we're much smaller, we're going to have to put that effort in and then some. If you're indie, hey, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to kiss your ass, baby. If you're an indie comics creator, an indie writer, indie filmmaker, you're going to have to work 3 times as hard as anybody who's made it just to scratch out somebody looking at your stuff and giving it a chance. That's just the fact. And you know what? And live it, love it, embrace it, because there's no other choice. Because if you're not going to embrace it, you're going to hate it, and you're not going to want to do it. And I guarantee you're not going to be successful. You're just not. You know, what I'm telling you right now is not going to guarantee success. I'm not going to sugarcoat that either. I'm not going to kiss your ass and say, you may work your ass off and go to a comic convention or something and be happy if you sell 5 comics. But look at it this way. That's 5 more comics than you sold before. You know, that's 5 more people that are reading your stuff, 5 more people that may grow to be fans. And that's something to build on. So that's it. That's all I got. But I had a little bit of free time and I had some stuff on my mind. I'm going to be around to talk about these things. A good friend of mine, Lori Calcaterra, said, you know what? You need to get out there live and talk to people more. I do podcasts, but I also need to get out there and just talk. And I enjoy talking to all of you out there, and I hope you enjoyed this as well, whether you're watching it live or you're going to watch it on replay. I will be back with the NIM Space, noon at NIM, because it is noon somewhere. It's probably noon, like over in Australia right now. But wherever it's noon with NIM. The show, real quick, let me throw this up there because, you know what? I want you to look at my stuff. Go check out my campaign right now. I got a campaign for a book called Phoenix Throne right now. It's over on fundmycomic.com. Phoenix Throne 1, Phoenix-Throne 1. It's a science fiction campaign. You go over there and you look at it. It will give you all the info, or you can go to dwhoward.com and you can check it out there as well and see what I'm doing. Give me a chance. You know, give me a chance. We are passionate about this universe. We want to bring it to you. It's $3 for a digital comic right now, $8 for 32 pages of physical. Go give us a chance to give it a read, and I think you're going to like it. And if you don't like it, that's fine too. That's fine. You know, so as I go out, I'm going to show you a short trailer that I did for Phoenix Throne. This is one that I worked on the other day, came up with. And I will be back probably with another one of these tomorrow. Until then, hey, all of you, be excellent. As Bill and Ted says, put that effort in and go out and be successful. I love y'all. We're out of here. Bye.
Keeper of the royal armament, sword of restoration, prophetess of technology, and defender of the faith. I am Isabet Arnev of the House of Beatitude, and none shall dislodge me from the Phoenix Throne.